Alrighty, week 8. 8. 8. Hey, that works. Week 8. And CIT93 JavaScript. And I have a couple topics today to talk about. And then I'm just going to go through some of the important things I want to highlight about the work today. This is a current video from this fall 2024 semester. I've gotten to know several of you in this class, and I've enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing more of you soon, which highlights the first topic, which is really about our technical interview. So here we are at week 8. And then at the end of week 9, after you get all the way through week 9, which week 9 is our first step along creating our app, where you're taking, again, you're going to learn about this in week 9, so I'm not going to cover it here. But then after you finish that, you will then have open to you the technical interview specs. And what you'll end up doing here in this item, and I'm just giving you a little bit of preview, I won't go through it all, but you'll sign up for a 30-minute session. And in that session, it will be a technical interview. It could vary from questions and or code challenges. Most likely be code challenges of which I intermingle questions in it. And I will give you a list of dates that are available. You'll see some are taken, and what you'll end up doing is in this submission, which is ultimately where you get graded, but for the first step, you just sign up and tell me what day and time you'd like to sign up for, and it'll be on a first come, first served basis. This is also happening for the students taking 28. If you're in both, which there are a couple of you that are, you'll need to sign up for 2 different sessions. More on this, actually I'll have a whole video just for this to cover it, but I just want you to know what's coming. Now, they don't actually start as far as them being able for you to do those interviews until that following week anyway. Okay, so but if you do happen to get there early, you can definitely come in. Now, you have until December 9th to schedule it, therefore come in. It'll be a few days because actually the actual last item I think is on the 11th for December for here. So this window is fairly large from the middle of October into the end of the semester. But for me, there's a lot of students I need to see. So I just suggest in general, the sooner you come in, the better. It's less content. The longer we go with the course, the more the code review could cover that. I will have more details on, and I've already given like some of my AI app, Canvas app stuff to help you start practicing. I'll have some more of that as we move forward. So just know that that's heading at you after week 9. So coming back to week 8, one of the things I talked about, let's talk about our first code along. So the first code along for this item, and let me step back here and actually go into it directly. Before we get into this conditional DOM render, which is a good time to talk about conditionals, because in your decision app, one of the first things you'll be doing is writing your algorithm for how you make your decision. And if you think about the equivalent in the carbon footprint, that's how we said if this input, household, house size, is this, then here's your carbon footprint number, and then you add all those up. So in this sense, we're still using if statements, conditionals to write decision code. Now, don't worry too much. We'll get there. I'm just telling you it's a good time to review conditionals, and in this case, it's conditional rendering. But here's why I'm here, is before you get into working on that, I'm going to do something here that will really be something timely based on the technical interview. Is that what I want to do is have you, right, before we start coding, I want you to see how well you understand the code we've already written. So what you want to do is bring up your README file, right? Or actually, in this case, I have you create a README file in your week 8, and then document, like go through and tell me how well can you describe that code. Then commit that, my understanding, okay? Then watch my video. And by the way, part of the work I do here shows how to use using DevTools. Now, I've been talking about DevTools this whole time. And I can tell you DevTools will be a part of the technical interview because that's how important I feel it is to students understanding JavaScript. Okay? So what you want to do is first do your understanding, commit that in the README file, and then watch the video and update anything that you feel like needs to be filled in. Because this is a great way to start seeing how well you understand the code you're writing and how well can you talk about it. Because that is part of anything that you learn is the ability to converse about it. And I find the more I can talk about stuff, generally the better I have a grasp on these concepts. So I just want to give you that heads up there. And then we get into the conditional rendering. Okay, so in this case, I'm showing you how to conditionally render only certain items within the object that's in the array. And in this case, foreshadowing to the future here a little bit, I actually realized that the way this is rendering based on a previous student showing me how JavaScript iterates through the object, it's not consistent, so we switched to another method later on, but it's still good to know both. I think they're both good to know. Okay, so let me come back here and talk about the other thing I wanted to talk about, which was in week 8. I've talked about, so I've already talked about the technical interview. So here in this week, we're continuing this concept because the challenges get more involved in the code discussion. So again, you have a path, you have a couple of choices. Attempt it first, no matter what path you're doing. You need to do your best to get it done. If you get it done, great. Post about your approach, what you did, okay? How you approached it, how you solved the problem. If you got most of it done, but you needed some help, then post the work that you've done, commit your work before you look at anybody else's, and then you'll have the solution after you've submitted, you have the solution to look at, and what you do is watch the solution and come back, write about what you learned. Okay, because we all learn in different ways based on where we're coming from. But the key is for you to attempt it. It's such an important thing because somebody just, and I know I'm repeating myself, but you just watching the solution versus taking the time, you miss the most, well, not the most, a very important part. Okay? So that's your path. You can also, and this is another good thing, ask for help. Ask for somebody. Again, this requires you to work ahead. I saw all your feedback about, yes, we all know it's important to work ahead, Rio, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. I get that too. Okay? So, anyway, you have choices in the way that you work through this content. So, just make sure you are doing this in the way that I'm describing as far as you attempt it, do your best to attempt it, commit that so I can look at how much you were able to achieve, and then go watch the solution, come back, fix your code, document in your post what you learned from doing that. Or ask for help, or you didn't need anything, you showed me, here's your approach. Okay, so last topic. In my CIT 28, so for those of you that are taking 28, you know what I'm about to talk about. If for those of you that are in this class and are using code spaces, a couple of my CIT 28 students hit up against a limit that I did not realize existed in CodeSpace because I thought CodeSpace was based on the way my organization and GitHub is configured, but it was not. And that came as a surprise to me, so I've had to kind of do a quick, how do we get around this? Because what happens is when you're using CodeSpace right now, you're limited to 120 hours. And once you reach that 120 hours per month, it's per month, once you reach it, you can't get into your CodeSpace. So you want to know, where you're at. So the first link here, and by the way, this video is actually me talking about this, so maybe I should just leave that for that discussion. I've actually placed it there. So I think I will do that. That's actually why I did it, so that you could see me go through and talk about, the different options that you have. I think the best one, honestly, is just to upgrade your account. And also, I couldn't remember how many of you are on CodeSpaces. If I remember from the beginning, the classes, it was almost 50-50, but I don't remember. So if you're not on CodeSpace, you can kind of wave your hand at this part, but it is good to know, okay? If you are on CodeSpace, you definitely want to know where your number is at, and then watch the link here for that. And then for whatever path you're on, you need to get working code for this, and this is the video to help you with. I think this is actually exactly the same video that was Solutia, but in case you missed it there, you definitely need that to start this week. Okay, I know a lot. So let me know if you have any questions. Have a great week, and I will talk to you soon.